Yes. So Enter the Dragon Part 2. You know, the dragon is very serious to me. It's very influential in my life, and I really, really honor and respect it in all utmost saying of what it is. You know, it took maybe 9 months of first dealing with the reptilian. That was like the first being that visited me, or was entered my body, or broke through what we would call my nadis, my chakras, and just made itself like an overlay appearance in me. That's when I went crazy. But I had to man up and learn to face these things and see what they want. What is it? There's nobody to help me. I was sent to the psychiatrist by my parents. They thought it was all types of things wrong with me. Everything came back normal. In fact, I was kind of extra smart, to be honest. But the reptilian made me challenge myself. All that I thought was, and what was I was educated to believe, even religious beliefs, everything included, was all a lie. It was me now being the judge, judging something that I knew nothing of, nothing about. And I learned. I learned to humble myself. Broke down, dropped on my knees when I found out it's really me, man. And I changed. The dragon now was always there in the background. When I was going through this, I would meditate looking at the moon. And when I played back the video, for some reason, I was going through so much, and there was nobody to turn to. I had to keep a video diary of all these weird visuals that I was having. And the camera was doing good in capturing energy, capturing something that was there to reassure me that I'm not tripping, it's not in my head. So as long as I had that, I felt I had a secret weapon now. I know something everybody don't know. And it's the camera that made me first realize, let me see if this is inside of me or is outside of me. And I realized what is inside of me, I could project out of me. We're projecting. So, you know, the term is used by some great philosophers and metaphysicians who incorporated the word into metaphysics. And the word is correct. We're all projecting right now this reality outside of us by our thoughts. So I started realizing that with that, everything was more mirror-based. I was not so afraid like I was to close my eyes and face it face to face as I was to projecting it through the mirror. By staring at myself through the mirror, I was able to pull up all these different selves of myself, these different aspects of myself, with it being like a flashline sequence of my eyes flashing, and the flash would make different images of myself appear in the mirror. You know, it's kind of darkish, it ain't very bright, so it gets to be kind of like a shadowy, but you define what is there through your subconscious, your past memories. Your brain and mind have a way of piecing images together. Like our reality is not a whole, but we piece it together in our mind to make it understandable data. So with that in mind, I started seeing different aspects of myself. And, you know, that's when I started making the video Shapeshifter. If I was to play my actual first recording of them, you will see every time the image is glitching. Bloop, 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 bloop. This is how it's going. And for me, over my eye overlay, I'm seeing different me's, different beings, different entities, different gods, different angels, all shape-shifting my face. And so when the video come out on YouTube or whatever, it actually looked like it's a glitching. If you watch that one, shape-shifting, when I'm standing out, I'm in the, you know, just outside by the waters and whatnot on the pier. And then when I take off my glasses, you can see like it's a pulsing going on. It's pulsing. It's not the actual video upload. It's the energy that I'm emitting and the actual beings that's over me in the magenta spectrum that you can't see with the naked eye until you have those twice born eyes, or you can see into what's called the magenta spectrum. Everything occurs in the magenta spectrum or the magnetic field. So it's not like it's a, impossible thing to do. You just got to study it and research it. That's like, when UFOs and aliens first came out, everybody had to go get a camera that did not have an infrared filter on it, because they were saying that this occurs in the infrared spectrum, which is correct. But it's not how we look at it as these other humanoidist type beings like ourselves, and they operating in a different frequency. It's more spiritual, and we're just tapping in to see it, because there's only physical up on the earth plane. It's the show, so right there it's crustified, it's calcified, it's hard. Now, with all that in mind, this dragon, it started to make its appearance as I used to meditate, and I watched back the videos. And to me, you might just see clouds, but I see the cloud dragon, the same dragon that I've been seeing when I close my eyes. And it took a long time for me to understand the concept of what was going on and how to even venture into applying myself to do something with it. It's kind of weird, because you could say I was seeing these Komodo or alligators crawling in my wall, like just pacing back and forth, and I'm nervous as hell, maybe for 2 weeks, just observing them as they walk back and forth, until I build up enough courage. It seemed like they're talking to me to touch the wall. And if you ever know your ethereal body, right? If you take your hands and you hold them up to your nose, the bridge of your nose, and look at them, and then separate them, double vision and separate them, you will see two ghost hands. Those fingers of those fingers, that's your ethereal body. You could pull them apart and attach, make them cross, and that's what you travel through that. If you know how to travel, you could just pull your hands up like that and go right through it. That's how it's done, it's through ethereal energy. So I started learning that when you touch the wall with your physical hand, your ethereal hand goes through the wall. They're ethereal beings. So now you're touching them. It felt just like if I had got arthritis. It was just like a numbing feeling, but it wasn't bad. But when I touched it, something came out of it. It was a being, a person. And it taught me the science. That's the science. Everything started to make sense right there. You see an Egyptian, they standing on a crocodile. Or you see in Samaria, they standing on the bull. That's what's in the air, those beings. You see the dragon, the bull, the crocodile. But once you touch them, the being come out. It's an actual conscious person. Ancient ones. One of the elders. There's many different ones. Even you and your higher self, or you and your future self, comes up out of there. That's why you'll hear Jason on the dragon. Everybody's killing the dragon. You can't kill the dragon. The dragon is you and everything in this world. But what's inside the dragon is what's coming to give you your lessons. So once this happens now, it's like me and the dragon got acquainted in the weirdest way ever. The way we got acquainted is the simple fact that it came, not just the being come out, but the dragon itself flies into you like a 747 plane crashing into you, and you just feel a massive amount of energy as it goes through your heart and your belly button. It takes up that whole area. Then after that, you're floating in your body. From there, this is when all the craziness started for me. And it's like your consciousness get pulled into the astral world. Meaning now, you feel like you're going from, like, if you're sitting on your couch playing Sonic and running through the rings, all of a sudden, when you get the dragon in you, you feel every whirl, every twirl, every dip, everything. It's like you're floating, standing there, rocking back and forth like Sub-Zero, one of them, when you're going to choose it in Mortal Kombat, just rocking in your body. That's the beginning of how the dragon feels. Hold on one second. All right. So now, when this dragon starts making you feel like you're levitating your body, it's like everything. It gives you abilities, it gives you extra senses, it connects you to the universe, the air, every molecule and particle. It's like once that occurred, it gave me eyes to see anything at any given time, anywhere into the world. And at first, that's how it was like, the view of it would be. It was like you would open up two atoms anywhere in the world and look through it. That was the perception, the views I was getting at that time. Hold on. So it started me being curious about the dragon. At first, it was weird experiences. I mean, what we call the cave, or what Plato talk about when they're in the cave, or you hear a lot of Neo-Platonists and medieval people talk about that we live in a cave. I've experienced that, where I traveled the cave, pushing into matter and digging and burrowing through matter, and come to find out it was not a cave. It must have took me about 2 to 3 weeks to find out.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But I just realized what it was. And when I caught on, the reason I caught on was simply because of the fact that I saw the video and I watched the actual dragon go by. If you ever watch my I think it's a video I got called Enter the Dragon or something with the dragon. I got the old Pharaoh song, Pharaoh Monk song, bum 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 bum. That one. You know, that's when I first started seeing the face, the image of it, the cloud look of it, how it actually looked. And it's the same way it appears when, if like, you know, you see it in the Matrix. You know, somebody had asked the question, what would happen, or what do you do when you see the dragon's eye and it's pinging back and forth in the darkness? That's it. That's the one I'm talking about. That's his look. If you ever watched the video, you'll catch it. And that one right there now, it's like when you look into him, you're looking in his eye, and that's the cave. That's what they call the cave. And once I got a facial recognition of who he was, then all of a sudden I realized I wasn't in a fucking cave. It was the scariest, creepiest thing in the world. I'm like, yo, I'm putting my eyes eye to eye with a giant dragon. That's what I've been doing all this time, thinking I'm traveling in a cave. So I was creeped out for a good week. Like, actually, when we go to meet, I was more freaked out and kept looking at the whole face coming at me and couldn't like make it go through. I would flash on and break the connection. I could not pull myself together just because I know what I'm doing now. Where before I would just go and I'm running the cave and I'm seeing mad people in the cave, all type of things going on in the cave. But then all of a sudden when I realized what face it was, I'm putting my face onto it running through, I didn't feel like that no more. So eventually, intuition or the dragon spoke to me and said, don't look at my face, just do it. And that was like one of the first lessons into like, you don't never look in the ancestor's face, because it kind of kept haunting me. I learned though, don't look at the face. And I'm saying when you go into the dragon's eye, it's like you at the entrance of the tallest mountain in the world. You just at one of the entrance to that cave entrance. That's how big that nigga face is. Hold on. Yes, like I was saying now, you know, I was kind of nervous, and it took me a minute to understand and comprehend that I'm face to face with this dragon, to where, like I said, it's like you at Mount Everest, just one of the entrance to a cave. That's how, as they get closer, that's how big it is. It's very huge, very huge. You can't imagine. That's the best I could use. Imagine Mount Everest, the biggest mountain, flying through the sky, the distance as a dot, and then coming closer and closer until you get to one of the cave entrance. Come and greet you at your front entrance, and you're standing there, and your guts perfectly aligned, like to make you walk across, like if you was coming off an airplane and, walking on that walkway to go into the terminal. Yeah, it comes to you just like that, and you cross, and it actually look like you're on a conveyor belt that start moving, start going forward, just start shooting forward. So everything now is on you. And there is a whole bunch of scenes taking place, a whole bunch of beings, different. Some is on the floor. You're seeing biblical scenes flash by. You're seeing this scene flash by. Slavery things, all types of stuff is flashing by. It's like little orbs, but you can see in the circle. And now there is overlays. It's gassy, and each gas is like a different image of stuff going on. So it's mad stuff going on you can focus on if you want, but there is a little dot orb light that is taking you through this journey, and that's where your main focus is at. If you break your concentration on that, the whole thing disappears, or the dragon drops from your screen and it just be floating all over a while and you can't grab it. It takes a long time to get to grasp the concept of how to hold the dragon still and then bring it in close to your face, and then actually take the journey through the wormhole, like you see the Egyptians with the snake stabbing the serpent. That's all it is. You hear it. If you ever look into microscopic vision, they'll tell you it's the third eye. It comes like a little kundalini snake, and you look through it and it opens up bigger and bigger and bigger, and you enter the parallel. Now, I don't know, people are saying that they open in the parallel and bringing demons and bad spirits over into here. Well, let's look into history. When there was ever a parallel world open and demons was out here haunting and attacking people? Never. That in nobody's history. So I don't believe or speculate in that. Not even from CERN opening portals is going to bring stuff over here that's going to attack us and kill us, or demons. It's going to bring out your true self. If you're fucked up, you're going to do fucked up things. But trust me, when you're talking about, hello, how you doing? Those type of beings or anything of that sort, you're talking about a time when these things, or what we call technology, our way of living, did not exist. They didn't have material things. Have you watched the difference between Doctor Strange and Mystique, these new generations of heroes that's taking over? They don't have no weapons. They don't need none of that stuff, and they're about peace. That's the original way it was. They use metaphysics, the elements, and the elements is its own entity that work with them because of who they are. So, you know, it's us in our own mundane self saying that something is coming from a parallel to get us. And if it is doing, it's through your own mind. That's what you are. That's what you're focused on, you know. For you to understand that part, you know, I see and I listen to a lot of people tell me their dream stories, and most of it is them being attacked by something, being chased by something. Well, we already know that's your soul, that's your astral body trying to get you to come out of body 1 and 2, get your attention so you could take the journey to your soul. But also a lot of people watch them CSI Miami shows, investigative show, first 48 hours, all these police shows that shows people killing each other every day, stabbing. You hear this person got stabbed up, this person got shot. And that's what, when you close your eyes, that's what you see. That's what's in your mind. That's what you programmed yourself with for that day, so it plays out in your dreams. So to alleviate all of that, you got to have a right mind, meaning you can't just feed yourself good vegetables and food, but then feed your mind pollution. That's important, because if you pollute your mind, you pollute in your reality. Remember, our mind controls this reality. We are thinking this into existence. It's not actually here. Think about it. Think about the shirt you have on. How did it come into this reality? It was once somebody's thoughts. Your pants. It was once somebody's thoughts. Look at your sneakers. It was once somebody's thought. Look at cars. Somebody thought of that first. You look at the street you're walking on. Somebody thought of that first, the pavement. Everything in this reality was thought of first. So then you ask, take everything away, you will only have dirt, trees, land. And if you say, who thought of that? Somebody had to think of it, because everything came from somebody's thought. So thoughts run the world. And if you don't control your thoughts, and you're thinking anything you want to think and don't have no confirmation, no proof to support what you're saying, that's all it is. I'm giving you reality checks so that we could follow real stuff. Take the time out to research. So, this dragon now, once it enters you and you start coming to these self-realizations, and that's what it do, it make you come to terms with your own self. And when you're taking that journey in the cave, it's like you get to see what's inside of you. All that you're seeing is exclusive only to you. It's not something that you could say is in this person's cave and that person's cave. you know, when you seeing the dragon as it comes to you, like I said, you first gonna see it as in a matrix pattern, a little dot, a little blink of light, a little bit of consciousness. But as you interact with it, it comes closer, it gets bigger till it's a big screen. Now the thing to this, right, as it's a big screen, right, you gotta realize it's gonna project and it's gonna have formation. One of the first things I had to learn, and it's like they pre-prepared me for this, was what was called the Tetragrammaton, or earth, air, fire, water, and its metaphysical, imaginary thought process. And this process now involved the fact of, like, how I started learning was you imagine real things. You know, I started watching stuff about the Hebrew letters forming the different ventricles of the heart, you know. And so I started picturing that in my head as each letter, you know, one. So I started learning how to do like visual, not just picturing that, but picturing the DNA itself, how it's like a helix. Then picturing it looking from the top view, how it looks. It would look like a flower, the lotus flower or whatever, from the top view. And after that, I started learning to squint and look at things like in a smoky way, and then make my eyes form the image of what I think it should be or what I see, not what is there, what I think I see. And so by doing that, I learned the Tetragrammaton, earth, air, fire, water, which will be air coming first. You think of something, use your imagination, and it calcifies through smoke, and then it becomes solidified through the water, and then it becomes alive through air. This is where you get something that comes from the astral world, and you will it into the physical world, or you bring something from out of nowhere to here. Eventually it's going to manifest for you, but that's the process of doing it. You know, you have to put in a sacrifice and dedication to the ancestors for this will to come to you. But that's how you learn to will first things, and not only will, you learn how to do formation, like how the Kabbalah teaches you formation. It's actually, you know, going through the stages of just waiting with your eyes closed, and everything will just start forming once you clear away your polluted mind and all the stuff that's bothering you, your kids, your bills, whatever. It just start now becoming an intelligent image. And this is what's called your mentor. Most mentors is Metatron, you know, depends. Because for me, mine is the Black Horseman. But the Black Horseman assumes many different characters too, from a girl to a little boy to a man with the shield and the sword, which is Metatron, and the other ones in between have different names. So everybody gonna have their own mentor, which is yourself, your true self, your higher self. But your true higher self is not a private individual self. It's already a spirit that everybody has, but not saying every individual. It's like 12 spirits, and everybody got them split like the 12 tribes of Jacob. So you could tell who you're with from your soul family if you understand this concept of how in their pure self, how they are. They'll have their symbols. Y'all have the same symbols. Y'all have the same God. Y'all do the same type of stuff. Y'all energies connect. So this now brings you to, like I was saying, the dragon. Once you know how to will through the Tetragrammaton and the Yahé Vahé, and use not just saying your imagination in the sense of imagining, but you will do better trying to ponder on the universe and then closing your eyes with an image of like the Milky Way or anywhere in the universe. And yourself will take you closer to the universe knowledge than you could read in a book. I mean, you get a visual that is so real that is going to count more towards your experience than actually reading a book and pulling out experiences out of it. So some of the times we don't realize, like a lot of things that we're curious about, we could just either get an image of it or imagine the image of it in our head, close our eyes, And ourself will take us a little bit closer. We'll know more about that image or that question mark in us by just holding a meditation upon the subject matter. And that's how clairvoyance works. You practice that. That's how you get clairvoyance to be able to do just about anything from forensic work to finding out about a loved one, anything of that sort. Because women's got this umbilical cord that connects to their kids. So everybody's connected to their parent. It's a forever line or lineage, just like genetics. And only time is when the baby is young and it needs food, such as like no matter where in the world, when a newborn mother has a child, as soon as the child is hungry, her breasts start dripping milk. It's a natural cause in the universal laws. And so it's the same thing. When her son is in danger, it automatically triggers her psychic abilities, and she knows. Same thing with your daughter's in danger. The mother knows somehow. And it doesn't just go for your generation, past generation, ancestors from the past too. They know. They have this sense. And so they come and they warn you. They come and they warn somebody that come to you. Synchronicity. All of this is what the dragon that you see is in every dimension. All the pictures you see is encircled with the double-headed dragon. Give you the ability to tap into, because it's two times. You have the earth time, the earth plane time. Excuse me. But you also have conscious time. Conscious time is different, but the conscious time, there is a time on it too. There is no place where there is no time. That's a misnomer right there. Let me tell you why. If you was to have some place where there's no time, you have no continuum. Time and events have to have some type of continuum. What we could say is the world of consciousness works different from regular time. What we would say is a year in the regular world is like a second in conscious time, but there's still time in there, because if you wasn't experiencing time, nothing would move. Once something moved, time started. You understand? Space. There is space in consciousness. If there was no space, you would not be able to move. Space means what we consider space here is not space. It's a reflective mirror. We're in a mirror. But when you're in the conscious world, you're in space. It's a forever, infinite, linear line. It doesn't end. So I just wanted to clear that up. That events that move, anything that moves encompasses time. Anything that goes back and forth encompasses space. Consciousness is conscious. Consciousness is the timekeeper and the space that you live in. It's not the other way around. You don't start time until consciousness comes. If the moon left here, everything would freeze solid to a rock, beyond a rock, because a rock is alive. That's because there's no consciousness there. Put the moon back, which is consciousness, everything comes alive again. So time and space is in consciousness. All right, let me just get that clear. Now, the dragon, going through the cave, and you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff. You could get sidetracked, but it's like you're running down the center of it, which is running, actually, believe it or not, down your own spinal column. You hear that? The dragon is Kundalini itself coming up your spinal column and meeting you wherever you're at and taking you throughout the many 77,000 vortice points that you have throughout your body, which is called nadis. It takes you on the nadis. When you do this, you get to learn there is a core to the dragon. And the core to the dragon is love. It take you through her own history of being in a relationship. She's always with for me, because I'm a man, it's with a woman. It's always with this woman in Egypt. This woman all over the place. But at the core is love. It's missing something. Something that it loves. It's missing love. Now, let me see. Once I realized that it was the dragon's eye and everything else, that was fine. I had to come to terms with it, and I learned a lot. In there, I eventually met the Black Horseman. Now, this is when everything changed once the Black Horseman came in the picture. Because when the Black Horseman came in the picture, it was around the time of the eclipse. Now, when this occurred now, everything became inside of me. The external clouds that I was seeing, I also started seeing inside of me. And when I got to my house, it was the same day that I got to my house, everything was inside of me now. It was inside my room. I forgot, I never really put this into any of my street talks, but every being that I ever saw, before I saw it, it took a position on my wall. It was first in my wall, and it freaked me out because I could sense the energy, I could see it on my wall. I got many videos of different type of symbols and shapes that's in my wall, beings. And so when they get in my wall, from there, they try to wait till I go to sleep, then come in my body. But I started learning it, so I started to interact with them. One by one, I will face each side of my wall, and I'll face them. So every being that I have is in my room. My room is just clustered with beings because they first take a position in the walls. Just like in Egypt, they're in the walls. I got, you could say, activated. I remember watching a YouTube video on Egypt, and I'm staring not at the actual statues or whatever, but I'm staring at the background, what's in the wall. Before I know it, everything came through my TV and took a position on my wall. I felt threatened, like, what the fuck is this? What are y'all doing here? What's up? Like, I could go grab my gun and it's a standoff. That's how threatening it was. I had to stop it, like, nah, this ain't right. What's going on here? I'm going to post those videos on my wall with all that craziness, because that's how it started. This was about 2 years ago, and ever since it hasn't changed. And so if you there's a video I made, The Prophecy with the Clouds, and it's all about my wall. Everything is coming from my wall. With, like, if you watch the video, the mouth of the dragon is where the main video is at. It's like a snake's mouth open, and the light formed the eyes. And so that's the dragon's mouth. From there, that's when me and it got acquainted. And yes, brother, that one happened in like the weirdest way ever. It was like, I've been dealing with the dragon now. It's taking me and showing me places, magical, mystical places. I'm going to do about a video just on the mystical places that I've been with the dragon, because it's so amazing. It'll make Avatar and Harry Potter look like an old Flintstone cartoon. Now, after the eclipse took place and I got more acquainted with the dragon, it started telling me a story. And that's how I started learning how she's the mother. She claims she's the mother. She feeds off our fear energy, sex energy, anxiety energy, all of that. But in return, it gives us life. Also, there's some of us who's connected as her son and daughters that she have actual connection as queen, king. So you have now a lot of queens out here who play the role of Lilith, and you have a lot of kings who play the role of Samuel. And it could be one person. That one spirit could encompass 20 people at one time, and all of them will say the same thing and be in love with the same woman, and all the same woman will be in love with the same man, because they don't see the physical man. They see in Samuel, just like they don't see that it's the girl, they see Lilith. And so they be like, I knew you all my life. Where was you? I was with you in a past relationship. They start kicking all that stuff. That's Samuel. That's the dragon working some with his kids or her kids. That's how she worked them. You understand? So it's kind of deep. These be more people who's psychic, that do readings, that do tarot card stuff. They always had it from a child and go through a lot of mental issues or whatever because they don't understand what's going on. But they're more connected to Sumer and the Sumerian story than anything, and is living out the Kwame and Kwalman or Canaan and Ada. Those is the relationship that is the twin flame. That was embedded into our mind as our pituitary gland and pineal gland. They're in a sexual relationship as the twin flame that's inside your head. And so you will see them kissing all the time too. It's get deep, man. And they'll look at you and then get back to kissing. It's kind of crazy, but they're always there. It's a cloud. You're in a cloud, malleable mind, like a wave of magnetic energy. It's subject to change by your thoughts. It's subject to change by putting different circles, squares, triangles over it, overlaying your mind, just like I tell you how to do the tetragrammaton. These is all the ways that you have to learn if you're going to be a higher being, if you're going to travel the astral world, the real world of gods. Not to go see your cousin, not to go say you did this and you saw this person's emotional state. All that stuff is cool, but we don't understand that all the way. Possessions is taking place, spirits is being exchanged, energy is being exchanged. A lot of things is going on. It's for me, it would be a sin for me to engage in a group meditation, group anything, because everybody had to be purified in that group for me to get in there, because I know the energy is going to come on to me, one, and then two, I might make other people go crazy because my energy is going to mess people up, you know. And whoever do some energy work with me, it's okay to post in the comments that, yo, things is real. Don't hold back now. Let everybody know. Support my work. I don't play games. Y'all know if I get in touch with you video, you're going to feel me on that video call. We do a test, I'll show you. But it is what it is. So that's all dragon work. Ether energy on steroids, you could say that. So once now this energy comes, and I have met the dragon now for the eclipse thing, everything started getting more real. It's like I remember now sitting at my desk and closing my eyes. And this is after, going through multiple training. When I'm talking about training, it's parallel training, upside down training, buttons to press in your mind to open doors, to go through windows. Going through windows is a whole video. I'm going to do a video just on how to go through windows. You got to realize everything is windows, and if you can't go through windows, and that was for me a long time ago, where I couldn't keep the burrow hole open or keep spinning the matter till it opens up to be like a screen like the size of my hand. So I used to have to go through my hand like a window. And I mean, there was no instructions to tell you how to thrust forward. Like I know how to thrust forward now. But back then, I would have to actually imagine myself like Tarzan on a vine swinging. That's how I used to go through the window, imagining myself like Tarzan, and that was the only way. Aside from that, it would stay in front of me and won't do nothing. But once I start having it, and then after a while, I picture myself grabbing each window and just going through them, and I'm going. It's going. I'm doing good. But if man, forget it. I'm Jedi. I'm going. Bang. Super high speed at that too, and now able to cut corners at super high speed. I'm doing like 90-degree turns at super high speed, B. I'm like, nah. Things I used to hit walls and be crashing and trying to get into the caves and time, like say I'm on the streets in time, I would slow down or go around and hit the buildings. Nah, now it's contemplation. I could contemplate when I'm a turn and at full speed, and then there we talking speeds beyond light. So you doing full turns, 90-degree turns at full speed beyond light. It's incredible. Everything that we're talking about is beyond the speed of light. That's why they only give you that speed of light. There's nothing really after speed of light physical, man. That's where everything occurs. That's where your soul is. That's why they can't track it down, and they know that. It's like there's no measurement tool, no weapon. There's nothing in that world. They in there and they call it chaos energy. Study chaos energy or Google it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Chaos science. Do chaos science. Chaos physics. It's something out there that they can't grasp, they can't touch, they can't make sense of. And that's what I'm talking about. That's our home. That's our world. That's our peoples. That's our ancestors. That's God's world. When you study chaos physics and chaos science, you learn those are the particles that created everything. You know, from the evil come good. Chaos is what, if you listen to the video I did with Manly P to tell you, that's Enlil. Enlil was the master of chaos. Anything with Lil symbolizes a demon. You know, you got the priest of Illies. It's a big thing on Lil. Y'all should read. If not, I'm going to do a reading with Jordan Maxwell book, The Priesthood of Illies. It's real. I've been studying long enough to verify everything he's talking about. When you're talking, he break down Illy. Illy priesthood is like a priesthood from like before the flood that had way more knowledge. Put it like this. This is not like advanced. They was advanced. Had all the books written, but every word had Illy in it. El, Illy, Lilith. All of these was they who started this language thing up, and almost all words, if you go back, had an L-I or L-I-L in it. And that's what they're known as, the priest of Illy. But they knew all the secrets, and they kept it all the secrets. So if you want to know all the words, illegal, library, where they come from, it all have to do with the priesthood of the Illys. Check it out. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Now, the dragon, it came into me upon this day sitting, you know, after the eclipse in the chair. And when it came to me like a 747, I slowly started to descend. You know what? This video is getting long. I don't want to do them too long on this, so I'm going to just hit it on the next one.